Hey guys, welcome back. It's Melanie with Swim Against the Current. I wanted to share something with you that I think is really important. There's been a lot of talk on social media, in particular the YouTube community, about expectations recently. Um, and so, no matter what channel you go to, you're probably going to hear the word expectation in some form, especially if it's like a spiritual channel or it's a channel about self improvement or learning how to be in the now, which is being present. And so I just wanted to share my personal definition of an expectation. Um, an expectation is something that resonates with energy given by other people that forms identity. So, energy given by other people. So, energy is how people feel about you and the thoughts that they have and the way that they communicate it. And so, expectations come from the thoughts that they have. For example, a parent has the expectation for their child that they'll grow up knowing the difference from right and wrong, right? And so most parents teach their children the importance of right and wrong. That's an expectation. Um, Another expectation is if I believe in something, it'll happen. So, another expectation is if I work hard and save money, I can go on a vacation. And so if you hear a common theme here, expectations are something that is thought of either by someone else and is put onto something, or something that we think inside of our mind that we put into our own being, our own functioning. And so oftentimes expectations are desires. And another form of an expectation is for a relationship. So someone may make friends with someone and have the expectation that, hey, we're going to communicate online. We're going to have email and phone calls and texting as our communication. But the friend may have the expectation, hey, I'd like to see you face to face and speak on things, and not have the expectation that I have to communicate with you electronically, if that makes sense. And so expectations are a variety of different forms. But the issue with expectations is that it puts demands on people that they may not, due to experiences, be able to fulfill. And so expectations are nothing more than details of a narrative. For example, I've shared narratives quite a bit recently, and this is part of a series that I'm working on about narratives and like how they affect us. And so expectations is part of that. So if you're living a certain narrative, then those expectations are going to match that narrative. If that narrative is socially acceptable, then your expectations are going to revolve around that. If it's religion, it's going to revolve around that. But if it's morality and it's non-ego based, it's going to revolve around making decisions for you and having no expectations and no thoughts and no control over someone else's life. You're not going to want to control what they do, what they say, what they wear, how they feel, what they eat, what they drink, what they drive for a car or truck. It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter how much money they make. It's not material. It's not prideful. It's not egoic. It just isn't any of the things that we've come to know as normal. And another word for normal is conditioning. And so I just thought I would share this really quick because expectations are harmful. We see a lot of people with low self esteem in the world and struggling to be positive and to love um, just what they are. And I don't mean self or as religion teaches it, loving self and being all about self and all about the world. True authenticity, non ego, a non expectation filled person is none of those things. And they don't define who they are by some book that was written, or something that someone told them, or some expectation or rule that their parents had. Those things are there, sure, and they construct our minds, they construct our ego, but they're not who we are, if that makes sense. You know, the internal thoughts you get in your head about the things that you were taught when you were a kid, that's two things. It's ego, and if it's repeated, it's an expectation that you believe that you have to be about now, because that's maybe how it's been in your family. Like, for example, maybe your family didn't go to college and get that higher education that's needed for a lot of jobs, and you did. And so now you feel like you let your family down because you chose a different path. Um, that lowers self esteem, and that's 99% of what we see in interaction with people in the world, is that lowered self esteem because of that fear of wanting to be who you truly are. Um, may not resonate with, or align with, or be exactly like someone else. In fact, most of the time, it isn't. And so, on my channel, I'm encouraging people to live their life, and be who they want to be, and not what they think they should be, or some version of themselves that they've adopted because of an experience. Um, just being true and taking time to actually find out who you are and what makes sense to you. That's what's important. It's not about what religion says, or what mom and dad say, or what your best friend says, or what your partner or your spouse says, or your children, or any of that stuff. It's just about you. It's about looking within. Um, that's where light is. That's where we really are. And I'm going to be honest, something that was really hard for me over the last 6 months was learning that all the answers that I was searching for when I was involved in a religious narrative, and I was adopting all of these pieces of my identity that I thought I was, I let go of listening to my inner voice. And so part of dropping these expectations too is having that inner voice come back. It's really important. So, anyway, see you guys on the next one. Take care. Shalom.